Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. Even though many different arts and entertainment facilities are opening up and holding their seasons, we are seeing an unfortunate rise in COVID cases. For instance, the city of Pittsfield is back in a code red territory, meaning COVID cases are at a dangerous high. Therefore, it is important to keep wearing masks, social distance when required, and most importantly, keep hand sanitizing and washing your hands. Even though some arts and entertainment facilities do not have mandates, others do. Still, the facilities are pushing on. On this episode, I'll be discussing Barrington Stage Company's and MOCA's early summer shows, and how a trip to Wahconah Park is going to be a little different this summer. Plus, I'll be talking about the reintroduction of a sport at Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, which former MCLA alum turned into an unlikely all-star pitcher? Now, for this episode's local headlines. First, we will be revisiting Barrington Stage Company in Pittsfield for their first show of the summer season. The show is Ain't Misbehavin'. The famed musical is a tribute to the music of Fats Waller, an American jazz piano player. During his time, Manhattan nightclubs such as the Cotton Club and the Savoy Ballroom were the playgrounds of high society, and Lenox Avenue dives were filled with piano players banging out the new beat known as swing. The musical combines Waller's best-known hits with Broadway-style numbers. The show was originally performed on Broadway in 1978, where it won several Tony Awards, including Best Supporting Actress in a Musical, Best Direction of a Musical, and Best Musical. The show has been reproduced many times. Its most recent U.S. tour took place in 2008. This will mark the first time the show has been produced at Barrington Stage Company. Cast and crew members are still to be determined. Ain't Misbehavin' will be performed from June 16th through July 9th. Times for the performances vary. On June 22nd, there will be a 25% discount offered for all Berkshire County residents. To redeem this discount, call the box office at 413-236-8888. Here you can also purchase tickets for regular shows. Because of the recent rise in COVID cases, masks are now being required at all times. Also, there will be hand sanitizing stations throughout the theater. Visit barringtonstageco.org for more information. Our next story is of a local bookshop owner who is now the subject of a documentary. Matthew Tannenbaum is the owner of the bookstore in Lenox. This is an independent bookshop and a center of community conversations for many years. When the pandemic struck, the bookstore was forced to close its doors temporarily. Thankfully, the bookstore was saved due to a GoFundMe campaign. Now, a documentary titled Hello Bookstore, named after Tannenbaum's standard phone greeting, is about to be released nationally. It was written, directed, shot, co-edited, and co-produced by filmmaker Adam Zaks of West Stockbridge. Zaks knew Tannenbaum because he married the best friend of Tannenbaum's daughter. This is Zaks' first feature film. Prior to this, he had worked as a TV producer for Comedy Central, including on hit shows such as Reno 911 and Inside Amy Schumer. In an interview with the Berkshire Eagle, Zaks said, quote, "I love bookstores, and the first time I walked in here, it felt unlike any other bookstore I've ever been to. Palpable soul and energy, and it was all because of him." Watching him hold court at the store was kind of its own ballet and theater. I was mesmerized by the way he conducts the shop. I would sit and watch, and hearing him tell stories about his life, it all came together, and I wanted to film this, end quote. After its theatrical premiere at the Independent Film Forum in Manhattan's Greenwich Village, the documentary will then be screened at theaters in Los Angeles, Boston, and nationwide. It plans on screening in these theaters so it can be eligible for an Academy Award nomination. Locally, the film is scheduled to show at the Triplex Theater in Great Barrington, the Crandall Theater in nearby Chatham, New York, and the Images Cinema in Williamstown. Starting on June 28th, the film will also be streaming on sites such as Amazon Prime and Apple Plus. And additionally, there will be a simultaneous DVD and on-demand release. Mass MOCA in North Adams will be hosting a reading of a new play titled Bright Half-Life. This will be done as a co-op with the WHEN Theater in Lenox. According to their website, quote, "Presented in partnership with WHEN Theater in celebration of Pride Month, join us for a reading of Bright Half-Life, a kaleidoscopic play about love, heartbreak, skydiving, and the infinite moments that make a relationship." Hailed by the New Yorker as a well-written portrayal of smart women finding, losing, and finding themselves and each other again, Bright Half-Life follows the deep and complicated love story of two female characters, Vicky and Erica, who must keep their relationship a secret, end quote. This is part of the WHEN Theater's series titled Fresh Takes, readings of groundbreaking plays which will be shown around Berkshire County. Bright Half-Life will be taking place on Sunday, June 5th at 2 p.m. It will take place in Club B10. Masks are not required, but they are highly encouraged. Everyone who is attending a performance of Mass MOCA, including Bright Half-Life, must provide proof of vaccination. According to Mass MOCA's website, quote, "Performing arts attendees are considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after the last dose was administered," end quote. Visit massmoca.org to purchase your tickets. Keeping in North Adams for our next story, Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts, or MCLA for short, has experienced a decline in attendance and activities over the past few years. One reason was due to the pandemic. However, MCLA is trying to increase attendance by adding some sports teams. Recently, they announced that they would be bringing back the men's hockey team and starting a women's one. In a statement by MCLA Athletic Director Laura Mooney, quote, "There's always been the desire to bring men's hockey back. People have been talking about hockey since I got here 7 years ago. People stop me in town and ask, when are we ever bringing hockey back?" End quote. There was a hockey team for many years at MCLA. It started back in the 70s when the college was known as North Adams State College. The team played in Division III ECAC, or Eastern College Athletic Conference, and played there for 20 years. Budgetary issues forced the cancellation of hockey after the 2002-2003 season. Now, MCLA will restart its hockey program. As part of the announcement, the school said it would be dropping its varsity tennis teams due to, in the school's words, quote, "a lack of interest among students," end quote. For the first time in MCLA's history, there will also be a women's hockey team in the spirit of gender equality. The men's team will play in the MASCAC, or Massachusetts State Collegiate Athletic Conference, along with other colleges such as Fitchburg State, Salem State, Westfield State, Worcester State, Framingham State, Plymouth, New Hampshire, and UMass Dartmouth. It is unknown where the women's team will play, because out of all the colleges just mentioned, only Salem State and Worcester State play women's MASCAC hockey. In a separate press release, MASCAC Commissioner Angela Baumann stated, quote, "MASCAC is extremely excited about MCLA's multi-year plan to enhance MCLA's athletic program and facilities. We are thrilled that MCLA is resuming their men's ice hockey program, which has a rich history of success, as well as the implementation of a women's ice hockey team. Adding another core member to our slate of men's teams will continue to grow our conference, while adding another women's program increases our conference sports profile and future potential opportunities. We look forward to the puck dropping in 2023, as well as the comprehensive faculty improvements all current and future MCLA student athletes will enjoy," end quote. MCLA plans to start both hockey teams in the 2023-2024 school year. While it hasn't been confirmed yet, games will most likely be played at the Peter W. Foote Vietnam Veterans Memorial Rink, where games were played when MCLA originally had a hockey team. If you or anyone you know is interested in MCLA's plans for hockey, visit athletics.mcla.edu. The Pittsfield Suns baseball season starts up on May 26th with an away game against the Nashua Silver Knights, followed by a home game versus the Norwich Sea Unicorns. However, this season, which marks the 10th anniversary of the Suns' first game in Pittsfield, things are going to look very different both on and off the field. First, the on-the-field differences. The Pittsfield Suns have a new manager. Last year's manager, Matt Gedman, joined rival team New Britain as a hitting coach. Now, the Suns will be led by Kevin Donati, who is the first former Suns player to become a manager. Donati, who is a Pittsfield High School graduate, and full disclosure, was a freshman when I was a senior there, played 2 seasons for the Suns in 2016 and 2017, as well as coaching there in 2018. He also played 4 years at the University of Albany. At the time, Donati was just the 6th Pittsfield High School alum to sign with the Division I college for baseball. At a press conference introducing Donati, he said, quote, "I'm looking forward to the opportunity. Being with the Suns for 3 summers was a great time, and I'm looking forward to building on that. What I'm looking forward to the most is the friendships you build, the relationships you build, and the memories you get from this opportunity," end quote. Now for the off-the-field differences. In some rather unfortunate news, the grandstands at Wahconah Park will not be open to the public. At a recent Pittsfield Parks Commission meeting, Mayor Linda Tyre said in part, quote, "A couple of months ago, as part of our inspections process, we realized that the grandstand area had deteriorated structurally, and following that initial observation, we had done a bit deeper assessment. It was determined that it was, and is, unsafe for seating this season," end quote. Bathrooms, locker rooms, and concession stands will remain open. The City of Pittsfield will install temporary bleacher seating for the fans, an example of which is shown here. The city is hoping to use either state or federal funds to help repair the grandstands. Stay tuned to WWHEN for updates. Combining our 2 previous stories of MCLA and baseball, it's now time for the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, which former MCLA alum turned into an unlikely all-star pitcher? The answer is Ken Hill. Ken Hill's rise from unknown to all-star was sudden. Born in Lynn, Massachusetts, he attended MCLA, then known as North Adams State College, from 1984 to 1986. Statistics during that time were hard to find, so it is unknown how good of a pitcher he was at the college. In fact, Hill was not even drafted by any major league team. After a quick rise in the majors, Hill made his debut in 1988 with the St. Louis Cardinals. Hill's early seasons were filled with struggles. For instance, in 1989, he led the National League in losses with 15. However, a trade to the now-defunct Montreal Expos in 1992 did wonders for his career. That year, he pitched a winning record for the first time in his career, reaching 16 wins. He would repeat that feat twice more with the Expos. His best year was 1994. That year, his 16 wins led the National League. He was an all-star for the first and only time in his career, finished second in the NL Cy Young race, and his Expos had the best record in baseball. Unfortunately, 1994 was also the year that a labor dispute ended the season before the World Series was played. Hill played 7 more years before retiring in 2001. His family has kept up his athletic legacy. Recently, his son Kenny played quarterback for Texas Christian University from 2016 to 2017. Finally, it's now time for this episode's movie portion of WWHEN. For this episode, we are going to be reviewing 2021's highest grossing movie, Spider-Man: No Way Home. As a movie critic, reviewing this film provides one of my toughest challenges. How can I review a movie when talking about anything in it automatically qualifies it as a spoiler? To solve this problem, I will not be talking about the plot in any way, shape, or form. Instead, I'm going to skip right to what I thought about this movie. It had everything great about a typical Marvel movie. The action scenes and special effects were amazing, there were some great fight sequences, and there is some much-needed humor. This movie references tons of other Spider-Man franchises. The Sam Raimi trilogy from 2002 to 2007, the Amazing Spider-Man series from 2012 to 2014, and the new Spider-Man series from 2017 to present day. It's basically the live-action version of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I absolutely loved. However, this is both a good thing and a not-so-good thing. On the one end, those who are fans of all the Spider-Man will get the references immediately. On the opposite end, if you've missed even one of the films, some of the plot points could be lost, and it can get confusing fast. It may be a good idea to catch up on some of the Spider-Man movies I referenced before watching No Way Home. Also, this movie is a tad too long, and some scenes tend to drag out. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, I give Spider-Man: No Way Home an 8 out of 10. The movie has everything Marvel fans have come to know and love. But if you haven't seen the other Spider-Man films, it may become confusing. That ends this episode of Wehry Weekly History and Entertainment News. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit Pittsfield TV's and CTSB TV's websites, shown here, or visit NBCTC's Facebook page. Also, if you would like to see the episodes in HD quality, make sure to check out my YouTube page at RT Wehry. Thank you.